Ma chère sœur, la Première Dame de Haïti, Honorable ED of UNFPA and United Nations Under Secretary General Dr. Natalia Kanem, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, distinguished Chair of the ICPF International Steering Committee, senior representatives of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population and Reproductive Health at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, senior representatives of government and the civil society, distinguished FP2020 reference group members, esteemed speakers, youth delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to thank the organizers for bringing the 5th International Conference of Family Planning to our country, and for the opportunity to offer my remarks at this special luncheon. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Rwanda to all participants. I do hope your time among us will be one of stimulating and fruitful discussions, and that you'll have enough time on your hands to discover our Rwandan culture, art, cuisine, and especially the people with whom you will hopefully foster closer friendships by the time you travel back home. Dear Jessica, Ivana, and Isaac, thank you for sharing your personal stories. Each of your experience spoke to me directly as a mother, a woman, and a sister. I believe that this is basic right to receive information on sexual and reproductive health, as well as to access the related services to ensure that every pregnancy is safe and wanted. It's my firm belief that I'm sure I'm not alone in feeling the depth of your experiences, which emphasize the need of imperative for family planning. We know that the best possible outcomes can be achieved when potential mothers and fathers have open and honest dialogues about their deepest aspirations and expectations, and can plan their lives accordingly. Your testimonies also bring to light the need for more platforms, such as this one, offered by our Ministry of Health, with the generous support of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population and Reproductive Health at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, and others, which aims at sharing life-changing information and innovative ideas on family planning. Distinguished guests, the history of our world taught us that parents would have more children to offset the higher rates of child mortality, but also the larger families were often associated with greater pride, as well as a solution for economic stability, since children would take care of their parents once they could no longer work. But the question we are now facing is what short, medium, and long-term approaches would foster a positive mindset shift in our society if we wanted to encourage a greater uptake in family planning to respond to our new socio-economic realities. As highlighted in the report, Future Drivers of Growth in Rwanda, which was launched not long ago, last week, by our government, the government of Rwanda, in partnership with the World Bank. Our Vision 2050 for Sustainable Development will need all of us to put first the 4 key drivers, namely innovation, integration, agglomeration, and competition. With one of the key areas being the development of human capital, we must address the question of demographic expansion and its impact on the realization of our ambitious economic growth. Indeed, we must ensure that all relevant stakeholders, from public health, economics, sociology, political science, and psychology disciplines, will work hand in hand with demographers to yield sound and friendly policies inspired by relevant specific population studies. To answer what Edie said, the data. So we need to ask ourselves to what socioeconomic achievements should our communities aspire to be convinced of the long-term benefits of determining the number of births according to one's economic abilities while spacing them out for healthier babies and women. Moreover, how do we reconcile cultural and religious beliefs that discourage the use of family planning methods with the reality that with smaller families, our communities can enjoy greater economic freedom, access to education and health services, while preserving our natural environment? Esteemed audience, modernization carries in itself several ambitions that can only be fulfilled when our societies become more educated, healthier, industrious, and consistent with their gender empowerment mechanism for sustainable socioeconomic gains across the board. The acceleration of our economic growth and poverty reduction requires access to comprehensive family planning services for a more favorable population age structure with more people being of working age. Improving family planning by availing comprehensive sexual education is therefore essential to ensuring the holistic development of our communities. We should continue to advocate for universal access to quality sexual and reproductive health services so that our communities are able to fully enjoy the right to plan their families whenever and however they wish. As a matter of fact, being able to plan is about lifelong opportunities as much as it is about human dignity and rights, particularly those of women and youth. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in Rwanda, advancing family planning and reproductive health has been proven to have a direct correlation to overall empowerment of families. And as a result, our commitment to FP 2020 at the 2012 London Summit on Family Planning led us to work even harder towards ensuring the availability of adequate services, including the provision of long-lasting contraceptives and the training of thousands of community health workers, tasked to follow up and respond to our population's health needs at the grassroots level. And today, due to the concerted efforts and global partnership formed by our government, more Rwandans are making informed decisions on these issues as we witness the gap in unmet needs for family planning falling from 40% in 1992 down to 19% by 2015, and an increase from only 10% in 2005 to 48% in 2015 in the use of modern contraceptive methods. But while this progress is encouraging, we cannot slow down our efforts as significant challenges are still ahead of us. And as an examples, the need for more sufficient and accurate information on sexual and reproductive health, especially among the youth, the capacity of more health caregivers to provide quality services and therefore effectively promote family planning and sexual reproductive health, and the smaller number of players and partners providing adequate services and interventions in responding to unplanned pregnancies and teenage pregnancies. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, through the work of my organization, the Imbuto Foundation, I'm constantly reminded of the difference that targeted and qualitative sexual and reproductive health information and services make in the lives of Rwandans, especially in the youth. And that's why this theme features in most of the Foundation's programs. We provide an integrated, package of interventions ranging from community dialogues, in particular between parents and adolescents, capacity training, and youth-friendly spaces with a view of helping families and youth become better informed about prevention and how to deal with the consequences of unplanned pregnancies. On this note, I encourage you to attend the presentations scheduled this Wednesday to gain a deeper understanding of family planning, interventions in Rwanda and elsewhere, including those of our foundation. In the next days of this important conference, we'll discuss substantive, difficult, and at times uncomfortable topics on challenges posed by family planning and sexual and reproductive health. But however complex as these discussions might be, we know that we have to confront them and dare our very own stereotypes, our learned attitudes and cultural norms. We have to interrogate in the wake of changing times for the sake of our collective well-being, our economies, and the future generations. And given the caliber, experience, and diversity of the people in this room, I have no doubt in my mind that we will come away with the best possible options and with implementing ideas, so to speak, to apply in our respective countries and regions. I encourage you to decisively push the boundaries and challenge the stereotypes until services are universal. I thank you all for your kind attention and wish us all insightful deliberation.